Good morning, my girl. Continue the topic of Henry VIII, disgusting King of England. He separated with Catherine, and Anne Boleyn was pregnant, and Henry VIII was falling in love with another girl, Jane Seymour. Massive mess situation. The same day of Catherine's funeral, and stillbirth baby boy. Henry VIII came to her bed and said, "Oh, God won't give me boy." Actually, historical record said the reason of Anne's stillbirth was shock because Henry was fall from horseback 2 days before and wrongly informed to Anne that he was dead. So people also said that this is due to Catherine's anger when she dead. New girlfriend of Henry, Jane Seymour, was quiet and modest person. But, what she had done is same as Anne Boleyn and rejected to allow him to enter her bedroom unless she could be queen. It was not the idea of Jane but idea of Edward Seymour, elder brother of her. Edward Seymour had ambitious and tried to control Henry through Jane. Jane knows characteristic of Henry and she knows how to do. Someday, Henry sent 1 bag of gold coins with his love letter to Jane. Jane picked up letter only and returned coin bag after kiss on it. "I am from noble family, and no need to receive money itself." Henry was so touched and loved her more than before. So, Henry thought about dismissal of his marriage with Anne and get marriage with Jane. Exactly same situation of Catherine. After he found new girlfriend, he abandoned his wife. And Thomas Cromwell gave advice to Henry VIII. He advised to create adultery gossip and excuse her as dirty witch. This gossip will not hurt reputation of Henry, and put all responsibility on her. Henry also shit but Cromwell also extremely disgusting. Because of his ambitious, he put her as a victim. Immediately they produced many victims. One guy just quarrel with her. They defined this as lover's quarrel. Also, another victim was her favorite musician. Moreover, torture of her also became victim. And although they are innocent, they were forced to say yes. Of course, Anne Boleyn also had been arrested and put into London Tower. Anne was in a panic, and screamed, cry, shout. Meanwhile, Cromwell asked her younger brother, George, to be in jail as well. Actually, this is also one of political power game to eliminate political enemy. Anne cried for him after knows his bad news. But Cromwell abused this war of her as they have love affair between sister and brother. And after unfair court case, confirmed her death guilty. In the court, she said, "I regret 5 innocent men also to be executed due to this unfair judgment." After this judgment, marriage between Henry and Anne was dismissed. 5 men were immediately executed by hanging. Henry VIII feels sympathy on her and changed execution from burning to beheaded. Also he employed good skill executioner. At that moment, and also said to the prison guard, "My neck is so thin and easy to cut." 19th of May, 1536, execution of Anne has been done in London Tower. That age, execution was something like entertainment and many people come and watch it. 2,000 to 3,000 people come with kids, with lunchbox, and drink. Like a picnic. Anne made a speech in front of people. "I came here to die upon law. If I did something make him unhappy, apology, King was good guy and kind, please pray for me. Actually, Anne was thinking of her daughter, Elizabeth. If she said something wrong, it will affect the future of Elizabeth. After execution, executioner pick up her head and shout, "Any enemies of king must be like this." Template of that era. We are not sure how old she was, but maybe 30 years old something. As a queen, just only 1,000 days. On the other hand, Henry was, at that moment, enjoying hunting. Very bad. After he knew execution of Anne has been done. "Wow, I did it!" he screamed and rushed back to palace to see Jane. Next day of Anne's execution, Henry and Jane announced their marriage. Actually, Henry had one boy with lover. Henry Fitzroy, Duke of Richmond and Somerset. Because Henry didn't have genuine prince, he was thinking to let this Duke Richmond to be his successor. But Duke Richmond had lung disease, same as Henry VII, and his brother, Arthur Tudor. And Henry VIII asked Duke Richmond to watch execution of Anne. Duke Richmond was so shocked and feels sick from this moment. Just right after Anne's execution, Duke Richmond passed away. He was just 17 years old. People said it was revenge of Anne and she bring him to the hell. Meanwhile, Jane Seymour asked Henry VIII to let Mary to come back to palace. Henry asked her to admit his authority in Church of England. And even Cromwell said to her, "If you still disagree, execution is waiting for you." Mary did not intend to listen. But Charles V, Holy Roman Emperor, advised her, "You'd better compromise this time. And you can change to Catholic when you become Queen of England." Mary was reluctant but accepted his advice. Meanwhile, we do not know why, but it was great achievement of Jane to let Mary to come back to the front page of history. And Jane delivered baby boy. Henry was 46 years and this portrait was that moment. Jane was so tough to deliver baby and doctor said to Henry that life of queen is in danger. Henry replied, "I have stock of queen but not baby." Really disgusting guy. And eventually, she delivered baby boy. Henry cried a lot and all the church bells were ringing for celebration. But, unfortunately, Jane was gone 1 week after delivered baby. It was so tough work for her. And her brother, Thomas Seymour and Edward Seymour obtained hidden power. Maybe Cromwell thought he must get point for king, and tried to find another queen for him. Soon, target has been locked on. It was Anne of Claves. She is noble family of German. Cromwell won't ask her to marriage with Henry VIII because she is relative of Holy Roman Emperor, and also one more important point. She was Protestant. New trend of religion was strongly blowing in Europe. And it is beginning stage of real politic. Power game in diplomatic activities. But for Henry VIII, it was quite simple. He loved her by first at sight. By her portrait. She was type of Henry, and he was very excited. In general, Groom must wait arrival of bride before wedding. Especially, he is king, he has to behave impatient. But, Henry was not. He could not wait and go to welcome her on her way. Stupid. He tried to play a fun for her. Do you know what he did? Change his costume for messenger boy, and break into her room. I do not understand what kind of joke it is, but Henry was so happy to do so. After he entered her room, she screamed and shouted, "Get out from here, fat man." Henry was so heartbroken and because depressed, very get angry with her. He said, she was not like in portrait, and said she was stinky. Actually, upon historical record, Anne was same face as portrait. Indeed, writer of portrait, Hans Holbein was realism and other portraits of an also more or less same face as Holbein's. Holbein was famous for skill of anamorphosis, and it was advanced technique in that age. So, actually not a problem of him. Unfortunately for him, his boss was disgusting guy. Anyway, Holbein was purged by Henry after removed his title. And passed away after few years under depression. Cromwell, he was more cruel ending. He was executed by Henry VIII. Henry asked an experienced executioner to behead Cromwell to give him pain in Tower of London. Actually, Henry hated to marriage with Protestant, change of political environment. But anyway, item of Cromwell, marriage with and push him into the hell. Indeed, and scared she also could be executed. However, it wasn't happened. Henry already found new girlfriend, and Anne didn't stick on the seat of queen. Luckily, she did not have any particular true evidence to prove marriage with Henry. So, marriage of them itself was invalid. Henry was so happy because he could easy to separate with her. So, Henry ensured sufficient support on her during her life. Henry called her as beloved king's sister. Actually, she took care all the palace people including Mary and Elizabeth well and no one has bad feeling on her. This was key point she could be survivor. Anyway, Henry VIII found new girlfriend. This was Catherine Howard. She was maid of Anne. She was another heroine of tragedy in English history. I may describe her life in the coming up chapter because Henry VIII has many topics and cannot cover by one or two chapter. So, still you have to be patient to stay with him.
As the journey continues.